hello and welcome. And I do apologize that I am 35 minutes late. I've had some technical difficulty, shall we say. But in the grand scheme of things, given the crap that is going on around the world, it's just a little hitch. So welcome to this week's live Q&A. I'm really happy to be with you at last. And let me introduce myself. I'm Vanya Fatidis from Peaceful Eating, where I help people end the struggle with their bodies and food. So this is a live weekly Q&A, and you can submit a question anonymously via my website, or you can leave a message below in the comments, and I will answer it next time. So my aim is to answer as many questions as I can in half an hour. And this week I have two questions. And just before I start, I want you to know that really this is for information purposes only. Even the people who are asking me questions, I don't know them almost always. I don't know anything about their history. I don't know what they have been doing. I don't know anything really about them other than the few lines that they write. So I'm taking that at face value and doing the best that I can with it. So I just wanted to leave that with you. So if you have asked me a question and the way that I've responded misses out some things about you, please by all means do send me a supplementary question and I will do the best I can to respond. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first question. And this is the question. I struggle with feeling that I am worth bothering about. I know from logic, health, sense, doing the best for yourself is important. I believe that so strongly, passionately, but I can't apply it to myself. I just feel like I'm not worth the bother. I'm confident in things I do, the practical me I know and trust. The physical body, emotions as related to me intimately, don't match. I know where it comes from, having alopecia for over 40 years and being blamed for getting it, bringing trouble to the family. And everything about me was wrong, from laughing wrong to bad handwriting to choice of clothes. Nothing good was celebrated. The people who instigated this are long dead, but the damage caused is huge. And although I believe differently, I don't feel it. Well, gosh, that question really did hit me hard. Um, I am so sorry that that is what happened to you. It was wrong. You know, the people who were taking care of you didn't do the right thing by you. And I'm so sorry that you were criticized and rejected in that way. And it's probably not an understatement to say that it is abuse. So, yeah, I'm sorry that that's what happened, and I'm sorry you were not unconditionally loved and approved of and encouraged. And yeah, I'm sorry that that was what was given to you. And as you say, you have been left with the damage, but you've also been left with the choice about what now? How now do you want to live for the rest of the life that you have? You can't go back to the people who caused the damage because they're no longer with us. But that doesn't mean that you can't take steps towards healing for yourself. Now, as I said in the beginning, I don't know anything about you and I don't know what your journey has been. I don't know anything about your circumstances, whether it might be possible for you to seek out therapy. And if so, I would particularly seek out a trauma informed therapist. And you might want to explore something called EMDR, which has been shown to be really effective for traumatic events. Um, and that would be my first suggestion to use to seek out therapy. The good news is, you know, we have a tremendous capacity to heal, and not everybody is able to heal, you know, all the way. I mean, it's just so dependent on many, many different things. But I want you to know that um, it is, it is possible to change our brains. Our brains are plastic, and we can change our neural wiring with intention, with effort, with practice, and with the right kind of support. I believe that it is possible to do. You still have life ahead of you, and living a life where you believe you're not worth bothering about, and believing that you're not worthy, that's a tough life. And you've had enough toughness in your life. So, where I would suggest if you were going to start to do something on your own is with a practice of self compassion. When we have compassion, the feeling of compassion, there's a desire to end the suffering of the person that you are feeling compassion towards. And so, if you're feeling compassion towards yourself, there will be a desire to end your own suffering, to comfort yourself, to soothe the pain that you feel. And what I love about self compassion work is that it's not requiring you to fix anything, it's not requiring you to do anything necessarily, but by inviting self compassion, by generating compassion towards yourself, you will start to cultivate a sense of greater care towards yourself. And the way that you can start by talking to yourself as if you were your own best friend. Talk to yourself in the same way that you would talk to the person you love the most in the world, the thing or the person you care the most about. So I would start there, and there are two books that I would recommend that you explore. The one is Tara Brach has a new book out called Radical Self-Compassion, and she is a teacher I really just highly rate, and she's a psychotherapist who is trauma informed, and she's also a mindfulness teacher. So that would be my first port of call. There's also Kristen Neff, who's written a book called Self Compassion, and she's been researching self compassion for over 20 years. And it's a really great book. There is a little caveat that I like to give along with the book, because in the book, certainly her understanding about weight related concerns isn't from a health at every size perspective. And so I would just read those little bits with caution, but it is a very small part of the book. So you can just skip those bits out altogether if you want to. So I hope that that helps. Let me move on to the second question. I'm working really hard on accepting myself as I am and being content with the image I see in the mirror. I'm working hard on self love and being kind to myself and telling myself and trying to believe that it really is okay to be fat. But I'm out of breath, can no longer paint my toenails, struggling to fasten my shoes, and wipe my own bum. She said ass, I like bum. I can't buy a bra without a mortgage. How do I marry all this practical side with the internal side? I'm just going to get my notes for this. The first thing I want to say is really acknowledge yourself for all the work that you've already put in. And I acknowledge you for all the work that you've already put in. It takes a lot, it takes real courage and grit and effort and patience and stick to itiveness, which I guess is grit. So, really, those are incredible qualities to be cultivating in yourself. And I really do want to acknowledge that warrior work, warrior not as in warrior, but warrior as in warrior of the spirit. So, really do acknowledge yourself for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is in terms of what you said about you that you're trying to believe that it's okay to be fat. Um, I don't know how well it works to try to believe things. I think what you could use a different approach, which is really just to start with acknowledging the truth, because it is a truth that being fat does not equal being unworthy, being unattractive, being unlovable, being lazy, being greedy. I don't know if I said being unhealthy. So often in the culture, that is the stereotype of the fat person that's associated with a fat person. So I would start by really acknowledging to yourself um, out loud that fatness is purely a description of size, just like being tall or being short or having brown hair or brown eyes or whatever it is. It There's nothing you need to add onto it other than just it in itself, right? There's nothing to attach to fatness. It's just on its own what it is. Does that make sense? So I would start there. Um, and then to really put your attention on all the things your body can do. So what I'm hearing is what is hard to do and what you can't do. And of course that matters, and I'll come on to that. But also put attention on what your body can do, how it enables you from everything you see, hear, touch, smell, taste. Just start with your senses. Every hug, every sunset, every experience, every thought. These are all by virtue of having a body that can do these things. So I would really practice putting your attention on everything your body can do. And then let that sink in. Really let yourself have it, right? The marvel, the awe of the fact that you have a body that enables so much for you. Every feeling you have, positive or negative, all enabled through having a body. So I would really encourage that. Then, in terms of the practicality, so I have worked with many people who come to me with complaints also about their body's physical limitations. And there is some truth to that. I mean, there can be, should we say, there can be truth to the fact that your body size could be limiting you in some ways. But I would encourage you to think about what you can do given that you have the body you have that might improve and alleviate some of those things. So I don't know how much movement you're doing. I don't know what kind of movement you're doing, but if you, whatever body you have, provided that you are able to move, you can increase your flexibility, your stamina, your fitness, your strength. All of these things can be improved if your body is able to move. Even if you sit in a chair and do a video on chair yoga, accessible chair yoga, you will increase your flexibility. So I've had people, as I say, have come to me before who've said all of these things, and without changing their body, they have managed to be more flexible, have more stamina, um, have more strength, have less pain in their body. So I really want to encourage you in that direction. In terms of the expensive bras, it's really not okay. It's not fair that people of different sizes have got to pay more money to have clothing that fits them and supports them well. And I it's not okay that that's the case. So what I would encourage all of us to do, those in bigger bodies and those in smaller bodies who can be allies to those people in bigger bodies, to write to the people you know, whose bras you'd like to wear, Marks and Spencer or whoever they are, and to say to them, I'm a size whatever. I want to be able to shop in your store. I don't want to have to go to the higher end, more specialist bra services. There are many people who would be buying bras in those shops if they were there. And what I will undertake to do is to write a letter myself and as an ally, because I can buy bras in kind of the high street stores. I actually prefer to buy the other bras because I just think the quality's better and they support me better. But, you know, that's a matter. I have the choice, and that's the point. So I will take that on, and I hope anybody here watching will take it on too, to write a letter to um, any high street store that sells bras that doesn't sell them in the bigger sizes, and say that you want that. So, and the last thing I wanted to say is that, you know, whatever, however uncomfortable it is to be in your body, and however difficult it is with the size that you have in a practical sense, two things: be kind to yourself, really continue that work, as you mentioned in the beginning. And the other thing is, please try and remember that one of the strongest predictors of weight gain is ever having dieted. This is borne out in the evidence. And, um, you know, getting tempted back into, well, I've got good reasons to try to lose weight because it's so impractical for me to be. It's not just about body image, it's not just about appearance, about practicality. And I get it. And that doesn't change the almost certain likelihood that you will regain the weight, and quite possibly regain to a higher weight, because that is an all too often outcome of trying to lose weight or dieting or lifestyle change, whatever you might want to call it. All right, so that is it for today. I hope that that was helpful, and I apologize for being late today. I had really just some really frustrating technical issues getting on with you today, and I had the wonderful support of Dom, who helps me with anything technical, and he's just amazing. I don't know what he would happen to be doing. It was 7:30 in the evening on his time zone by the time I got hold of him. So really great gratitude to him for stopping what he was doing. And please, if you like this video, if it's helpful, please share them. My ebook is on my website, peacefuleating.co.uk. It's called A Guide to Peaceful Eating. You can instantly download it if you sign up for it. And please ask a question if you have questions for me. I really enjoy doing these live Q&As. And I hope this is helpful, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.